Welcome to Solving with Matrices. In this lesson, our goal is to do two things. One, create an augmented matrix, and two, solve systems of matrices using row reduced echelon form. And we're going to do it in the calculator. So in our first blank here, under our steps for solving them, the first thing we need to know is that reduced row echelon form is abbreviated as rref. And that's how you type it into your calculator as well. So when we are trying to solve a system, the first thing we have to do is line up all the terms with variables on the left and constants. So those are just like plain numbers on the right side. So for example, it should be like 3x minus 4y equals 2 or something like that, as long as these are lined up x and then y and then the number. Second is to create an augmented matrix. So that's one of our vocab words. So yesterday we looked at the coefficient matrix, and this is basically just the coefficient matrix with an extra row on it. Or sorry, an extra column. So we just add a column onto the side, and you can put that it's for the constants. So if there is a variable missing, then we need a placeholder, which is going to be 0. Whenever you see a variable missing, you'll just put 0 in there. And when we put it into our calculator, we're actually going to type it in as rref, and then we're going to put a parenthesis and put the augmented matrix inside the parentheses. So make sure you have to type in the parentheses or the calculator won't know what you're talking about. So let's go to our examples. Example 1, if we check, the first thing it said to do was to line up all the variables and constants. Well, x's, y's, constants. So this one's already lined up. Now I'm going to create an augmented matrix. So I'm going to take all of the coefficients to start. So I've got 3, 5, this is a -1, and then I have a 4. So that's my coefficient part of the matrix. And then I'm going to add on the constants. So I'll have an extra column here, 14 and 12. So this is my augmented matrix here. So if you want to make a note, this is the augmented matrix. And a lot of times you'll see they'll separate it with a little like dash line, so we know that those are the constants and those are the coefficients of the variables. So this column represents the x's and this one represents the y's, as you can see up here. So when we want to actually do this, we're going to put it into the calc. And we're going to type it in as rref parenthesis. Then we're going to put the matrix, and then we'll close it. So this is going to go inside of here. So on our calculator, we'll go to the home screen, and I'm just going to open up a page to calculate, and I will actually type in the real letters rref. So I'll go down to the bottom, rref, and you can see it pops up, and then I will put a parenthesis. And now I need to put the matrix in. So the matrix button was right here. And my matrix is 2 rows, 1, 2, by 3 columns. So I need to do a custom. And I had 2 rows, so I delete and put a 2. 3 columns, I can tab to move easily between them and push enter. So I can see now it's popped up with all the blanks. I'm just going to type them in. So 3, tab, -1, 14, 5, 4, and last one is 12. And then I just hit enter. Now we can see that we've got 1, 0, 4, 0, 1, -2. I'm going to write that down on my paper so I can show what it means. So we got 1, 0, 0, 1, 4, and -2. So this is the reduced form. And what this means now, we still have the separation here, And these were the x's and these were the y's. So what this means now is 1x plus 0y, which is just 1x. So x equals 4. And this is showing us that 1y, or just y, equals negative 2. So my solution is just 4, negative 2. Let's check out number 2. First thing to check, remember, is to look for the variables and the constants. Are they lined up? I can see that they're not right now because this one has the 2x over here. So if I want to move everything to one side, I'm just going to add 2x to both sides. So now this equation is 2x plus y equals, well, this is going to be 0. And notice how I put the x one first so that my x's would be lined up and then my y's. So next step is to make that matrix, the augmented matrix. So I take my coefficients, 7, 2, negative 8, and 1. And I've got my coefficient matrix, and then I'm going to add on my constants. So negative 23, and this one is just 0. And I'll put my little separation line. Now we're going to put that into the calculator. So just like we did before, we'll put it in on the screen. So if I open it up, I type in rref again with parentheses, and now I put in this matrix. So this again is 2 rows by 1, 2, 3 columns. So I change it to 2, 3, and now I just type those in. So 7, negative 8, negative 23, 2, 1, and 0. And this is the matrix I'm getting here. So this is showing me x equals negative 1 and y equals 2. So on my paper, I can just kind of throw that on there. 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So this is showing right, x equals negative 1 and y equals 2, because these are the x's and these are the y's. So the answer would be negative 1, 2. And the last one is now a system of equations with 3 variables. So this time I'm going to have x, y, and z. So similar to last time, but now we just have a bigger matrix. So we need to figure out what the coefficient matrix would be first. So I look and see, do I have all the x's? Yep. Y's? Oh, this one doesn't have a y, so this one should have a placeholder, 0y. And we've got a z for all of them. So my coefficients here, I'm just going to write 2, 4, negative 1, and then negative 4, negative 5, and 2, and 1, 0, 2, because it goes in order, x, y, and z. And I'll add my coefficients, which are here, or sorry, constants, negative 7, 8, and 13. Give a little separation, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to type this in with the rref. So I will open up my screen, and I'll type it in again, rref, parenthesis, and this time my matrix is actually 3 rows by 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So I have 3 rows. I can hit tab and change that to 4 columns. This time I'll just type these in now. So 2, 4, negative 1, and I'm just using tab to go faster, negative 7, negative 4, negative 5, 2, 8, 1, 0, 2, and 13. And this time my matrix shows the first one is x equals 3, y equals negative 2, and z equals 5. So this time I'm just going to write what they are. X equals 3, y equals negative 2, and z equals 5. Save myself a little bit of writing. And I can write that also as coordinates, so 3, negative 2, and 5. All right, that should wrap up rref.